What if I told you that the answer to reversing decades of muscle loss isn't hidden in expensive supplements or grueling workouts, but in 3 ancient teas that have been quietly waiting in plain sight? One of them has been used for over 3,000 years, and what it can do to your aging muscles will absolutely shock you. But here's the unsettling part. Most doctors will never tell you about this because they simply don't know. I'm Dr. Sarah, and what I'm about to share with you today could be the difference between spending your golden years confined to a chair or dancing at your grandchild's wedding. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why that morning cup of tea might be the most powerful tool you have to reclaim the strength you thought was gone forever. Let me paint you a picture. It's a Tuesday morning. You're sitting in your favorite armchair, the one you've had for 20 years. You finish your breakfast, and it's time to get up and start your day. But something's different. Your legs feel heavy. That smooth, effortless rise you've done 10,000 times before now requires a little push from your arms. Maybe a slight grunt escapes your lips. You brush it off. Just a slow morning, you tell yourself. Fast forward 3 months. Now that chair requires 2 attempts to stand. 6 months later, you're strategically planning which chairs you'll sit in when you visit friends because you know some are just too low, too difficult, too embarrassing. This isn't a story. This is happening to millions of people over 60 right now. And here's what terrifies me as a healthcare professional. Most of them think it's normal. They've been told it's just part of getting older. But what if I told you that's a lie? You see, there's a thief operating in your body right now. It doesn't break down doors or trigger alarm bells. It works slowly, methodically, stealing something precious from you day by day, year by year. This thief has a name: sarcopenia. After the age of 60, your body begins losing approximately 3% to 8% of muscle mass every single decade. Think about that for a moment. Every 10 years, you could be losing nearly a tenth of the muscle that allows you to walk, stand, climb stairs, carry groceries, play with grandchildren, and live independently. But here's what keeps me up at night, and what should concern you even more: this isn't just about muscle. When you lose muscle, you lose your identity. You lose spontaneity. You lose those precious moments of freedom. Remember when you could decide on a whim to walk through a farmer's market for an hour? Or tend to your garden all afternoon without thinking twice? Or carry your own luggage through the airport with confidence? Each of these small freedoms is tied directly to your muscle strength. And when those muscles weaken, something even more sinister happens. Your balance deteriorates. Your risk of falling skyrockets. And one fall, just one, can change everything. Your independence, your confidence, your entire future can pivot on that single moment when your muscles weren't strong enough to catch you. I've sat across from too many patients in their 70s and 80s, tears in their eyes, telling me they wish they'd known sooner. That they wish someone had told them muscle loss wasn't inevitable. That they had options. That's why I'm here today. Because you deserve to know the truth. Now, before I reveal these 3 extraordinary teas, I need you to understand something crucial about your body. Because without this knowledge, you won't fully appreciate why these teas are so revolutionary. Inside your body right now, there's a war happening. And you're losing. When you were younger, let's say in your 30s or 40s, every time you ate protein, it was like flipping a powerful switch. Your body received the signal loud and clear: build muscle. Repair tissue. Get stronger. Your muscles responded eagerly, efficiently using every gram of protein to maintain and build strength. But something changed. Gradually, insidiously, that switch became harder to flip. Scientists call this anabolic resistance. It means that the same amount of protein that once built muscle now barely registers. Your body's muscle-building machinery has become resistant, stubborn, unresponsive. This is why you might be eating well, consuming adequate protein, doing everything right, and still watching your muscles shrink before your eyes. The signal isn't getting through. But wait, it gets worse. At the same time this is happening, another enemy has infiltrated your system: chronic low-grade inflammation. Imagine a small fire smoldering deep inside your body. It doesn't cause the sharp, obvious pain of an injury. Instead, it burns slowly, constantly, damaging your muscle fibers day after day, making them weaker, preventing them from repairing properly. And there's a third factor: reduced blood flow. As we age, circulation to our muscles decreases. Less blood means less oxygen, fewer nutrients, slower recovery. Your muscles are essentially being starved of the resources they need to stay strong. So now you have the perfect storm. Your muscles can't respond to protein, they're being damaged by inflammation, and they're not receiving adequate nutrients. No wonder you're getting weaker. This is where most people give up. They accept defeat. They resign themselves to a future of declining strength and lost independence. But not you. Not today. Because I'm about to show you how 3 specific teas can disrupt this entire process, calming inflammation, improving circulation, and helping your body respond to protein again. And the third tea? It does something so remarkable that when I first read the research, I had to verify it 3 times because I could barely believe it. Before we dive into these teas, I want to pause for just a moment. Because this isn't just a video where I talk at you and disappear. This is a community. A family of people who refuse to accept that age equals weakness. So I'm asking you right now, drop a comment below and tell me, what tea do you drink every day? Have you ever considered that tea could actually help rebuild your muscles? Do you have a story about struggling with muscle weakness that you'd like to share? I promise you, I read every single comment. I respond to as many as I possibly can. Because your experience matters. Your story might be the encouragement someone else needs to take action today. And please, stay until the very end of this video. Because after I reveal these 3 teas, I'm going to give you exact instructions on how to use them safely and effectively. I'll tell you the optimal times to drink them, the right temperatures for brewing, and the critical safety considerations that most people ignore. Because here's the truth, even the most powerful natural remedy can fail, or worse, cause harm, if you don't use it correctly. Alright. Let's get to what you came here for. The 3 teas that can help you rebuild muscle, walk stronger, and reclaim your independence. I'm going to count them down from number 3 to number 1. And I promise you, when you hear what's at number 1, you're going to be shocked. It's a tea that most Americans have never even heard of, yet it's been used for over 3,000 years and is now backed by rigorous modern science for its profound muscle rebuilding effects. Are you ready? Let's begin. Coming in at number 3, we have Rooibos tea, also known as South African red tea. Now, I know what you're thinking. Rooibos? I've never even heard of that. You're not alone. Walk into most American homes, and you won't find it in their cupboards. Maybe you've seen it on a store shelf, dismissed it as just another fancy herbal tea, and moved on. That would be a mistake. Because Rooibos, which grows exclusively in the sun-drenched plains of South Africa, is anything but ordinary when it comes to supporting muscle health after 60. Let me tell you why this tea captivates me. First, it's completely caffeine-free. That means no jitters, no sleep disruption, no racing heart. For those of you who are sensitive to caffeine or who can't have it for medical reasons, this is a game changer. But that's not why it made this list. Rooibos contains 2 extraordinary antioxidants that you won't find in many other places, aspalathin and nothofagin. These compounds sound complex, but what they do is beautifully simple. They calm inflammation, that slow-burning fire we talked about earlier. They improve circulation, helping oxygen and nutrients reach your hungry muscle cells. And they protect your muscles from oxidative damage. Think of oxidative damage like rust on metal. It's the slow, invisible wear and tear that accelerates muscle loss as we age. Rooibos fights this process at the cellular level. A fascinating study published in Phytomedicine Journal, one of the most respected publications in plant-based medicine, found that Rooibos extract significantly reduced inflammation markers and dramatically enhanced antioxidant status in adults. Let me translate that into real-world terms. Rooibos creates an internal environment where your muscles can actually repair and grow instead of slowly deteriorating. Now, here's a question I get all the time. Dr. Sarah, if it's caffeine-free, will it give me energy? The answer is yes, but in a completely different way than coffee. Rooibos doesn't give you that sharp jolt followed by the inevitable crash. Instead, it supports healthy blood sugar regulation. When your blood sugar is stable, your muscles receive a steady, consistent supply of fuel throughout the day. No spikes, no crashes, just sustained energy that allows you to feel stronger and less fatigued. Here's exactly how to use Rooibos for maximum muscle-supporting benefits. Steep 1 to 2 teaspoons of loose Rooibos leaves, or 1 tea bag, in hot water for at least 5 minutes. The longer you steep it, the more beneficial compounds you extract. Some people steep it for 10 to 15 minutes for maximum potency. You can drink it hot as part of your evening wind-down routine, or brew it strong and serve it iced throughout the day. Here's a tip I share with my patients: add a slice of fresh orange or a cinnamon stick. Not only does this enhance the flavor, But orange provides vitamin C, which boosts antioxidant absorption, and cinnamon helps with blood sugar stability. Many of my older patients tell me Rooibos has become their favorite tea because it tastes almost indulgent, smooth, naturally sweet, comforting. And when you truly enjoy something, you'll drink it consistently. And consistency is what your muscles desperately need. But as impressive as Rooibos is, the next tea on our list is one you definitely know. Though I guarantee you've never understood its true muscle-building potential. Securing the impressive. Number 2 position is a tea you absolutely know, green tea. Now, I can almost hear some of you saying, green tea? Really, Dr. Sarah? That's not surprising at all. Everyone knows about green tea. You're right. Green tea is everywhere. It's one of the most consumed beverages on the planet. Millions of Americans drink it daily for weight management, heart health, or as a lighter alternative to coffee. But here's what absolutely astounds me. Despite its popularity, almost no one understands green tea's extraordinary power when it comes to rebuilding muscle after 60. It's like owning a Swiss Army knife and only using it to open letters. You're missing 90% of what it can do. Let me reveal what's really happening inside every cup of green tea. The secret lies in compounds called catechins, specifically, one powerhouse molecule called epigallocatechin gallate. Scientists call it EGCG for short, and this compound is nothing short of remarkable. EGCG is one of the most potent antioxidants and anti-inflammatory agents found in nature. But here's what makes it special for muscle health. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition demonstrated that EGCG doesn't just fight inflammation. It actively enhances fat oxidation and significantly improves muscle recovery after physical activity. Now, let me be clear about what this means for you. This isn't primarily about burning fat, though that's a nice bonus. This is about creating an internal environment where your muscles can efficiently repair themselves and grow stronger after any physical activity, whether that's a walk around the block, gardening, or climbing stairs. But there's something else in green tea that makes it uniquely valuable for older adults, and this is where it gets really interesting. Green tea contains a modest amount of caffeine, about 30 to 50 milligrams per cup, roughly 1/3 the amount in coffee. This caffeine gently improves mental alertness and stimulates your nervous system. Why does that matter for muscles? Because muscle activation and coordination depend on clear signals from your brain. When your nervous system is functioning optimally, your muscles respond better, your balance improves, and your movement becomes more coordinated. But here's the brilliant part. Green tea's caffeine is naturally paired with an amino acid called L-theanine, found almost exclusively in tea. L-theanine creates a calm, focused clarity without jitters. It's like having the alertness of coffee with none of the anxiety or shakiness. For older adults concerned about balance and steady movement, this is invaluable. Now, I need to address something I hear constantly. Dr. Sarah, I tried green tea years ago. It was bitter and awful. I'll never drink it again. I understand completely. And I'm going to tell you something that will change everything. That bitterness? It's not the tea's fault. It's user error. Most people brew green tea completely wrong. They use boiling water and steep it for 5 to 10 minutes, thinking longer is better. The result is a cup so bitter it could strip paint. Here's the game-changing technique. Heat your water to approximately 175 degrees Fahrenheit. That's well below boiling, just when you see the first tiny bubbles forming. Then steep your tea for only 2 to 3 minutes. That's it. The result? A smooth, subtly sweet, genuinely enjoyable cup that you'll actually want to drink every day. Want to take it even further? Add a fresh slice of lemon. Not just for flavor, though it does taste wonderful, but because the vitamin C in lemon dramatically increases your body's absorption of EGCG. You get more benefit from every sip. But Dr. Sarah, some of you are thinking, I'm very sensitive to caffeine. Even small amounts keep me awake or make me jittery. I have great news. High-quality decaffeinated green tea still provides EGCG and all the beneficial catechins, just with minimal caffeine. You get the muscle-supporting benefits without the stimulation. For optimal results, I recommend 1 to 2 cups per day, ideally in the morning or early afternoon. This timing allows your muscles to benefit from improved blood flow and antioxidant support during your active hours. It's like giving your muscles premium fuel right when they need it most. I've personally drunk green tea every single day for over 2 decades. Not just because I enjoy the ritual, though I do, but because I've witnessed its remarkable effects. I've watched countless older patients maintain leg strength, recover faster from activity, and preserve their mobility longer simply by adding green tea to their daily routine. One patient, Margaret, stands out in my memory. She was 68, struggling to walk more than a block without her legs feeling exhausted. Within 6 weeks of drinking 2 cups of properly brewed green tea daily, combined with gentle walking, she reported feeling 20 years younger in her legs. She started taking longer walks. She rejoined her gardening club. She stopped making excuses to avoid activities she loved. That's the power of consistency with the right tea. But as impressive as green tea is, and trust me, it's extraordinary, it doesn't hold the top position on our list. Because the tea claiming the #1 spot? It's in a completely different league. This tea has been revered for over 3,000 years in one of the world's oldest medical systems. Yet most Americans have never heard of it. It sounds exotic, maybe even intimidating. But the scientific research behind it is absolutely undeniable. This tea doesn't just support muscle health, it actively triggers your body's muscle-building mechanisms in ways that seem almost too good to be true. When I first encountered the research studies, I was skeptical. I read them twice, then 3 times, checking the methodology, examining the data, looking for flaws. But the evidence was rock solid. This tea has been shown in clinical trials to increase muscle strength, improve muscle mass, reduce the stress hormone that breaks down muscle, and enhance your body's ability to build new muscle tissue, all without requiring dramatic changes to diet or exercise. For anyone over 60, this is nothing short of revolutionary. Are you ready to discover what it is? Taking the undisputed #1 position, ashwagandha root tea. I know what you're thinking right now. Ashwa what? Dr. Sarah, I can't even pronounce that, let alone find it in a store. Let me tell you about this extraordinary root, because once you understand what it can do, you'll find a way to get your hands on it. Ashwagandha, sometimes called Indian ginseng or winter cherry, has been a cornerstone of Ayurvedic medicine for over 3 millennia. For 3,000 years, healers in India have used this root to restore strength, vitality, and resilience in aging bodies. For centuries, this was dismissed by Western medicine as folklore, ancient superstition, unproven remedies. But then something remarkable happened. Modern science caught up with ancient wisdom. Rigorous clinical trials, double-blind studies, peer-reviewed research, all the gold standards of modern medicine, began validating what traditional healers had known all along. Ashwagandha is a powerhouse for rebuilding muscle, especially in older adults. Let me share what makes ashwagandha absolutely unique. The root contains active compounds called withanolides. Think of them as the active ingredients, and these substances function as adaptogens. Now, that's a term you might not be familiar with, so let me explain it clearly. Adaptogens are remarkable substances that help your body adapt to stress. Not just emotional stress, though they help with that too, but physical stress. The stress of exercise. The stress of daily activities. The cellular stress that comes naturally with aging. But here's where ashwagandha becomes truly extraordinary, and why it claims the #1 position. Cutting-edge research demonstrates that ashwagandha can gently elevate testosterone levels, within healthy, natural ranges, in both men and women. Now, before you get concerned, I'm not talking about dangerous hormone manipulation. I'm talking about helping your body produce optimal levels of the hormones necessary for muscle maintenance. Testosterone isn't just a male hormone. Both men and women need it for muscle health, and both sexes experience declining testosterone with age. This decline is one of the primary drivers of muscle loss after 60. But ashwagandha does something even more critical. It improves muscle protein synthesis. That's the actual process of building new muscle. Remember earlier when we talked about anabolic resistance, how your body stops responding to protein as effectively? Ashwagandha helps flip that switch back on. It makes your muscles more responsive to the protein you eat. And there's one more crucial mechanism. Ashwagandha significantly reduces cortisol. Cortisol is your body's primary stress hormone. A little bit is normal and necessary. But chronic elevated cortisol, which becomes more common as we age, literally breaks down muscle tissue. It's catabolic, meaning it destroys muscle to create quick energy. By reducing excess cortisol, ashwagandha protects your existing muscle from being cannibalized by your own stress response. Now, let me share the research that made me sit up and take notice. A groundbreaking study published in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition examined older adults who supplemented with ashwagandha. The results were stunning. Participants experienced significant gains in muscle strength and noticeable increases in muscle size compared to the control group. And here's the kicker. They didn't make dramatic changes to their diet or exercise routines. They simply added ashwagandha. Let me repeat that because it's so important, they rebuilt muscle and gained strength without overhauling their entire lifestyle. For someone over 60, perhaps dealing with joint pain, limited mobility, or health conditions that make intense exercise difficult, this is life-changing information. Now, I know some of you are thinking, wait, Dr. Sarah, isn't ashwagandha a supplement? I've seen it in capsules at the health food store. You're absolutely right. Ashwagandha is widely available in capsule form, and many people use it that way. But here's what most people don't know. Brewing the dried root into tea is actually one of the oldest, gentlest, and most traditional ways to consume it. This method has been used for thousands of years, and there's wisdom in that tradition. When you brew ashwagandha as tea, your body absorbs the beneficial compounds slowly and gently. It's easier on your digestive system. And there's something profoundly therapeutic about the ritual itself. The warmth of the cup in your hands, the intentional act of caring for your body, the moment of pause in your busy day. Tea transforms medicine into a practice of self-care. Here's exactly how to make ashwagandha tea for maximum muscle-supporting benefits. Take 1 level teaspoon of dried ashwagandha root. You can find this at health food stores or online. Place it in a small pot with 1 cup of water. Bring it to a gentle simmer, not a rolling boil, just a gentle simmer, and let it cook for 10 to 15 minutes. The longer you simmer, the more withanolides you extract into the water. I personally simmer mine for the full 15 minutes. Then strain the liquid into your cup. The tea itself has an earthy, slightly bitter flavor. Some people describe it as woody or herbal. If you find the taste challenging, here's my favorite preparation. Add a splash of warm milk, dairy, almond, oat, whatever you prefer, and a pinch of cinnamon. This transforms the tea completely. The milk softens the flavor, and the cinnamon adds a warm, comforting sweetness. But here's the beautiful part. This isn't just about taste. Cinnamon itself has powerful blood sugar balancing properties. So you're combining ashwagandha's adaptogenic muscle-building effects with cinnamon's metabolic benefits. It's a synergistic combination that's greater than the sum of its parts. Many of my patients also add a small amount of honey, which makes it taste almost like a comforting latte. The key is finding a preparation you genuinely enjoy, because you need to drink this consistently to see results. Now, before you rush out to buy ashwagandha, I need to have a serious conversation with you about safety. Because as powerful as this root is, it's not appropriate for everyone, and using it incorrectly, or using it when you shouldn't, can cause real problems. This is where I need you to pay very close attention. Ashwagandha is generally well tolerated by most people. In the studies I've reviewed, the vast majority of participants experienced no adverse effects. But there are specific situations where you need to exercise caution or avoid it entirely. First, thyroid conditions. Ashwagandha can influence thyroid hormone levels. For some people with hyperthyroidism, this can actually be beneficial. But if you have hyperthyroidism, or if you're taking thyroid medication, ashwagandha could potentially push your levels too high. This isn't something to guess about. You need to consult your healthcare provider before starting. Second, autoimmune conditions. If you have conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, or multiple sclerosis, ashwagandha might stimulate your immune system in ways that could exacerbate your condition. Again, this requires a conversation with your doctor. Third, blood pressure and blood sugar medications. Ashwagandha can lower both blood pressure and blood sugar. If you're already taking medications for these conditions, adding ashwagandha could potentially cause your levels to drop too low. This could lead to dizziness, fainting, or other dangerous complications. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to empower you with information so you can use this remarkable root safely and effectively. The goal here is to build muscle and improve your health, not to create new problems. So please, if any of these situations apply to you, have a conversation with your healthcare provider. Show them the research. Ask their opinion. Get their blessing before you proceed. With that said, let me share some real stories from my practice, because these transformations are why I'm so passionate about sharing this information. I'll never forget Robert. He was 71 when he first came to my office, and he was struggling. He told me that 5 years earlier, he'd been active, independent, playing golf twice a week. But gradually, almost imperceptibly, his strength had declined. By the time I met him, he needed his wife's help to get out of certain chairs. He'd stopped golfing because walking the course exhausted him. He'd even stopped going to his grandchildren's soccer games because the bleachers were too difficult to navigate. I feel like my body betrayed me, he told me, and I could see the frustration in his eyes. I'm not ready to be old yet. We talked about his diet. It was actually quite good. We discussed exercise. He was walking regularly, doing what he could. But something was missing. I introduced him to ashwagandha tea, along with green tea in the mornings. I gave him the exact protocols I'm sharing with you today. I told him it wouldn't be instant, that he needed to be patient and consistent. 3 weeks later, Robert sent me an email. Dr. Sarah, I don't know if it's the tea or just wishful thinking, but I feel like I have more energy. 6 weeks later, he came back for a follow-up. The change was visible. He walked into my office with more confidence. He sat down in the chair and stood up without using his arms to push himself up. I went to my grandson's game last weekend, he told me, smiling. I climbed those bleachers, and I wasn't even winded. My wife couldn't believe it. 3 months later, Robert was back on the golf course. Not every day, he was realistic about his limitations, but he was back. That's what consistency with the right approach can do. Then there's Patricia, 68, who had been struggling with chronic muscle soreness. Every activity left her aching for days. She started drinking rooibos tea in the evenings for its anti-inflammatory properties, combined with green tea in the mornings. Within a month, she reported that her recovery time had significantly improved. I can work in my garden in the morning and still feel good enough to cook dinner that night, she told me. Before, I'd be laid up for 2 days after any physical activity. And Margaret, I mentioned her earlier, who regained the confidence to walk through her neighborhood, rejoin her gardening club, and stop making excuses to avoid the activity she loved. These aren't miracles. These aren't outliers. These are ordinary people who made a simple, consistent change and gave their bodies the support they needed to rebuild strength. Now let me bring this all together and give you a complete protocol, a practical, actionable plan you can implement starting today. Here's what I recommend for optimal muscle-supporting benefits. Morning. Start your day with 1 cup of properly brewed green tea. Remember, 175-degree water, steep for 2 to 3 minutes, add a slice of lemon for enhanced absorption. This gives you gentle alertness, improved circulation, and powerful antioxidant support right when your muscles need it most. Afternoon or evening. Enjoy 1 cup of rooibos tea. This is perfect for the afternoon because it's caffeine-free and won't interfere with sleep. The anti-inflammatory properties work throughout the day to calm that chronic inflammation we discussed. Many of my patients drink this in the evening as part of their wind-down routine. Evening, 3 to 4 times per week prepare ashwagandha root tea. I don't recommend daily use for everyone. 3 to 4 times per week is often sufficient for most people to experience benefits while minimizing any potential side effects. The adaptogenic effects are powerful and don't require daily dosing to be effective. This is also easy on your budget, as quality ashwagandha root can be more expensive. But here's what's crucial. This isn't about perfection. This is about consistency over time. If you miss a day, don't spiral into guilt or give up entirely. Just pick up where you left off. Your muscles respond to patterns, not perfection. And remember, these teas are not magic potions that work in isolation. They're part of a comprehensive approach to maintaining strength after 60. You still need adequate protein in your diet. You still need to move your body regularly, even if it's just gentle walking or chair exercises. You still need adequate sleep and stress management. But what these teas do is create an optimal internal environment where all those other healthy habits can work more effectively. They're the foundation that makes everything else work better. Before we move forward, let me quickly recap the safety considerations for all 3 teas, because your well-being is my top priority. Rooibos tea, generally safe for almost everyone. However, if you have existing liver issues, consult your doctor before regular consumption. There have been rare cases of liver problems associated with very high doses, so if you have compromised liver function, get medical clearance first. Green tea. The main concern is caffeine sensitivity. If you experience jitters, anxiety, or sleep disruption, switch to decaffeinated versions. Also, green tea can interfere with iron absorption if you have anemia, so drink it between meals rather than with food. And if you're taking blood thinners like warfarin, the vitamin K in green tea could potentially interact with your medication. Discuss this with your doctor. Ashwagandha tea. As we discussed in detail, avoid or consult your doctor if you have thyroid conditions, autoimmune disorders, or if you're taking medications for blood pressure or blood sugar. Also, pregnant or nursing women should avoid ashwagandha entirely, as its effects in these populations haven't been adequately studied. One more general note. If you're scheduled for surgery, stop drinking ashwagandha at least 2 weeks beforehand, as it can potentially affect blood sugar and blood pressure during surgical procedures. I know this might seem like a lot of warnings, but I'm sharing this because I care about you using these teas safely. For the vast majority of people, these teas are wonderfully safe and beneficial. These precautions apply to specific situations, and it's better to be informed than to encounter problems later. Now I want to share something more personal with you. something that goes beyond the science and the studies. After decades in healthcare, working specifically with older adults, I've observed something that breaks my heart: the number of people who have internalized the belief that weakness is inevitable, that decline is non-negotiable, that their best years are definitively behind them. I've sat with patients who apologize for being a burden, who cancel plans with friends because they're embarrassed about their physical limitations, who stop pursuing hobbies they love because they've convinced themselves they're too old for such things. And I want to tell you something with absolute conviction: that narrative is a lie. Yes, our bodies change as we age. Yes, we face legitimate physical challenges. But weakness is not inevitable. Decline is not guaranteed. Your best years don't have to be behind you. I've seen too many counterexamples. Too many 70-year-olds hiking mountains. Too many 80-year-olds dancing at weddings. Too many people in their late 60s and 70s who are stronger, more active, and more vibrant than people half their age. What's the difference? It's not genetics, though that plays a role. It's not luck, though some people do face more challenges than others. The difference is this: they refuse to accept the narrative of inevitable decline. They took action. They made intentional choices. They showed up for themselves, day after day, with small, consistent habits that accumulated into remarkable transformations. Every cup of tea you thoughtfully prepare is a statement. It's you saying, "I refuse to give up on myself. I refuse to accept weakness as my fate. I'm worth the effort." That cup of tea is an act of rebellion against a culture that tells older adults to sit down, slow down, and accept diminishment. And here's something else I want you to consider. When you reclaim your strength, you don't just change your own life. You change the lives of everyone around you. You remain independent longer, which means your adult children don't have to worry constantly about your safety. You can actively participate in your grandchildren's lives, playing with them, taking them on adventures, being fully present rather than watching from the sidelines. You maintain your dignity, your autonomy, your sense of self. Think about the message you send to younger people when they see you thriving at 70 or 80. You're proving that aging doesn't mean giving up. You're modeling what's possible. You're expanding what people believe is achievable. Patricia, the patient I mentioned who regained her ability to garden, told me something beautiful. She said, "My daughter kept telling me to hire someone to do my gardening, that I should take it easy. But now she sees me out there, working in my beds, planting flowers, and she stopped worrying so much. I think I'm teaching her that she doesn't have to fear getting older." That's the ripple effect. That's the power of taking your strength seriously. Now, I know some of you might still be skeptical. You're thinking, "This sounds too good to be true. Tea? Really?" That's the answer. I get it. In a world of miracle cures and magic pills, healthy skepticism is wise. So let me be clear about what I'm not saying. I'm not telling you that tea alone will transform you from frail to strong overnight. I'm not suggesting you can ignore exercise, nutrition, sleep, and stress management and just drink tea instead. What I am saying is this: these 3 teas provide bioactive compounds that address the root physiological causes of age-related muscle loss. They reduce inflammation. They improve circulation. They support protein synthesis. They lower cortisol. They provide powerful antioxidants that protect muscle tissue. These aren't claims I'm making up. These are mechanisms demonstrated in peer-reviewed scientific studies, published in respected journals, conducted with rigorous methodology. The studies I've cited, the research in phytomedicine on rooibos, the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition on green tea, the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition on ashwagandha, these aren't fringe publications. These are mainstream, respected scientific sources. You don't have to take my word for it. The research is out there. The evidence exists. What I'm offering you is a bridge between that scientific knowledge and practical application. I'm translating the research into something you can actually use in your daily life. So here's where we are. You now have information that most people never discover. You understand the 3 primary mechanisms of age-related muscle loss: anabolic resistance, chronic inflammation, and reduced circulation. You know about 3 specific teas that address these mechanisms. You have exact protocols for preparation and use. You understand the safety considerations. Now you have a choice. You can close this video, think that was interesting, and do nothing. You can go back to accepting muscle loss as inevitable, watching your strength slowly decline, gradually surrendering activities you love, and resigning yourself to increasing dependence. Or you can take action. You can go to your local health food store or order online and get these teas. You can start tomorrow morning with a cup of green tea, properly brewed. You can make rooibos your evening ritual. You can add ashwagandha 3 times a week. You can decide that you're worth this small investment of time and effort. Because here's the final truth I want to leave you with. Age doesn't get to dictate your strength. Your choices do. Every single cup of tea you prepare is more than a beverage. It's a conscious act of self-care. It's a commitment to your future self. It's a declaration that you refuse to fade quietly into weakness and dependence. It's you saying, I matter. My independence matters. My strength matters. And I'm going to show up for myself, 1 cup at a time. The best steps you take aren't behind you. They're still ahead, if you give your body the support it needs to keep taking them. Now, here's what I want you to do right now. Not later, not tomorrow, but right now. First, drop a comment below and tell me which of these 3 teas you're most excited to try. Are you drawn to the gentle, caffeine-free power of rooibos? The familiar yet newly understood benefits of green tea? Or the ancient wisdom of ashwagandha? Share your answer. Your commitment in writing makes you significantly more likely to follow through. Second, if you found this video valuable, if you learned something that could genuinely change your life, give it a thumbs up. This helps YouTube show this information to other people who desperately need it. Someone's grandmother, someone's father, someone struggling with declining strength right now might discover this video because you took 2 seconds to click that button. That's impact. Third, share this video with someone you love who's over 60 and struggling with muscle weakness. Text it to your parents. Email it to your aunt. Post it in your community group. This information is too important to keep to yourself. Fourth, subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. Because we're constantly bringing you more science-backed strategies, practical protocols, and empowering information designed to help you stay strong, active, and independent, no matter your age. Next week, I'm revealing the 5 biggest mistakes people over 60 make that accelerate muscle loss, and number 3 will shock you. Fifth, and this is the most important action, take 1 concrete step today. Not tomorrow. Today. Order one of these teas online. Drive to your local health food store. Clear a space in your kitchen for your tea ritual. Do something tangible that moves you from information to action. Because information without action is just entertainment. And your strength is too important to treat as entertainment. I want to leave you with this image. Picture yourself 6 months from now. You've been consistently drinking these teas. You're walking with confidence. You're rising from chairs without hesitation. You're playing with your grandchildren without exhaustion. You're saying yes to activities you'd been avoiding. You're looking in the mirror and seeing someone strong. Someone vital. Someone who refused to surrender to age. That person is possible. That future is available to you. But it starts with a choice. And that choice starts today. I'm Dr. Sarah, and I believe in your strength. I believe in your resilience. And I believe that your best years, your strongest steps, are still ahead of you. Now go brew yourself a cup of tea. Your muscles are waiting.